It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, ends it. Yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Welcome on in. It's the Full Court Press. Jason Walker here alongside Eric Frandsen. He was doing those little fist pumps as he heard the Cubs beating the Cardinals earlier
Let's
today.
go.
In the middle of the top of the hour Fox News blur. But we won't talk about that as much today, Eric, sadly. We don't have time to talk about your favorite baseball team. But what we do have time to talk about is a lot of Utah State Aggies. We'll have top 25 Aggies later on this hour. We're revealing number 17 for the number 17 football player for this upcoming season. We'll also talk a lot about USU Media Days. That was yesterday. Got a lot of audio. You can hear from, we have posted those audios on our podcast feed from Nate Dreiling, Diana Sabo, all the different, athletes that we interviewed yesterday. Though to begin today, we have an interview, and, as we talk to football players, they're hoping they can compete for a Mountain West championship. We have with us on air right now a Mountain West champion already, Kylie Olsen of the Utah State soccer team. Welcome on to the show, Kylie. Oh, do we have him? Oh. Okay, I forgot to push a button, Kylie. All right, let's try that again. Take two. Welcome to the show, Kylie.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry about that. So let's talk first about winning that Mountain West championship. I know we've covered that. We were following the season throughout all of last season and the run to the Mountain West championship. Just tell us a little bit about what's it like looking back on that championship at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that championship was obviously something that we have had a goal for a really long time. And to be able to do it as the first time in the school program was awesome. And I feel like it's just given us a lot of confidence coming into the season this year, knowing that we've been there and we can do that, and we have the experience as well. And we have a lot of returners coming back, which is also really nice.
What does that mean for what your, I guess, the expectations are, the target on your back coming into this season, and how did that affect you, your approach to the off season and getting ready for a year where you're going to be the odds-on favorites going into the season?
Right. Well, I feel like we have a little chip on our shoulder now, having a championship in the past. But, I mean, off season was super intense with our coaches, and I feel that they trained us knowing that we had a chip on our shoulder coming into this season. And we're really excited. We're really the first couple of days have been really, really hyped, which is fun. And our preseason is really challenging, which was similar to last year, which I think really helped us going into conference.
So I do want to get to that non-conference schedule, but one thing you mentioned a little bit earlier was some of the returners. Now, a lot of players return because they have they're sophomores and juniors and whatnot. But you and I think 6 players who were seniors last year. You have a COVID year of eligibility, and there's 5 or 6 of you that chose to return. You could have transferred someone else. You could have just said, "Okay, I'm done with soccer," moving on. But a bunch of you chose to return. So that, basically most of the lineup from last year returns. Like, how big was that for you? And can you just walk me through the decision that all of you made to return for a 5th season to play here at Utah State?
Yeah, I mean, we do have a lot of 5th-year players this year, which is super fun for all of us. We can put our arms around each other and just know that this is one last year that we got that was given to us and we were able to take. But I feel like most people who stayed had decided they wanted to stay before we've had a lot of success, just knowing we might as well take the opportunities we have. And I think it amped us up even more once we did get our championship and success, and just wanting to go even further this year. I think it just gave us more of a drive, honestly, and made us feel more confident about our 5th year and taking it.
So does it kind of add a bit more pressure that this is your last ride or the last dance, if you want to call it that? That, obviously you've had success, but does that add any pressure knowing this is your guys' last season as for a lot of you, obviously?
I think it's less pressure and more excitement and just kind of love for each other and the team and the coaches and what we've built this far. So I feel like coming in this season, it's more about what more can we do than we've already done, and less pressure, honestly.
Kylie, just looking at this team and the culture that's been growing here with Manny Martins, part of that is, well, I don't want to say it's just because of Manny Martins. There's been a pretty strong tradition the last several years where great athletes from area high schools are able to stay close to home and play at Utah State. On this roster, I counted, about 16 athletes from the state of Utah, but 3 of you are homegrown from Cache Valley. What does that kind of mean to you, playing among peers that understand the culture and everything around here in this state and what Utah State really means as an institution?
Yeah, I mean, I think it brings excitement to the fans, and kind of like it feels at home for other people as well, knowing that people chose to stay here and that we want to be here in front of homegrown fans. And I mean, when I came in, there were a lot of girls that were already from here as well, and I think that helped me make my decision to come to Utah State, knowing that people chose to stay and they were glad that they stayed in this environment in front of people they've known, play in front of people they've known for their whole lives, and stay close to family and just honestly feel right at home.
Well, your alma mater keeps winning state championships at the 4A high school level, so probably more to come.
Yeah, I hope so.
Did you put in a good word to, was it Austin Miller, I think, who just signed with Utah State coming out of Green Canyon?
Yeah, she is awesome. She just came just this year, and she's only been with us for a couple practices now, but she's been killing it so far, and it's really fun to have her, and knowing that I get to share that with her, that we both came from Green Canyon.
So a few of the teammates who are from area high schools you may or may not have played against, like Whitney Lopez, and I suddenly spaced Busy Arevalo. I know she played at Logan, then she played at Davis. But do you ever remember games playing against those players, if you did end up playing against them?
Yeah, definitely. We played against each other a lot, and I think it was really fun for us. I mean, we grew up playing on the same club or with each other and being close friends, so just playing against each other is even more fun to see each other in that type of environment and competition. But now we just are with each other every single day playing together, and I think it's just made our relationship with each other super strong.
Again, we're talking to Kylie Olsen, a graduate senior for Utah State University Women's Soccer Club. And you kind of touched on this. I want to circle back to it, but the off-season for you and for the team, like what did that look like for you? Because it can be kind of a long time away from at least Utah State organized soccer, but there are certain things that are asked of you. We have heard of some of your teammates in the past, those maybe who have international heritage, go back to their home countries and be able to do some things, club soccer or play for a national team. But what's it been like for you in your off season? What has that looked like, a training regimen or other competition that you've had?
So I've been able to play on a couple summer teams. They're semi-professional, and I think it just helps you. It helps you stay in shape. It helps you keep touching the ball and play with new players while you're in off season to get you prepared for preseason. And so we've kind of all spread out to different teams, which is fun. So sometimes we'll play against each other during the summer. And, I think it's good to just keep on moving during the off season when we're not in spring and we have those couple months before preseason. But I played on a team in Layton, Utah called LaRocca FC, and a couple other players on Utah State played on as well, and we were able to play against other Utah State players as well.
So LaRocca has the semi-pro teams too?
Yeah, they do. So they're new in the past 3 years, and I've been able to play on them for 2 of the years, and then another year you can travel out of state and play on other semi-pro teams and live there for the summer.
Okay, I knew they had a very robust youth academy, but I didn't realize they were in the semi-pro game too. But
yeah, it's pretty new, but they've made some good progress out of it already.
So I want to ask about fall camp just started for you guys the other day, so you've only had a couple of practices, but kind of just tell me about this team. I guess it's a lot of familiar faces, but what kind of things are you expecting from this team? Perhaps in particular the newcomers. Maybe introduce us to some of the key newcomers we may be seeing.
Yeah, so high energy, honestly. For the first couple of practices, it has been really high energy, which is honestly all we can ask for going into preseason games. But I think, you mentioned Austin Miller before. She's really shown up so far in a couple of practices. We're kind of doing team things right now. It's hard to tell some personalities, but everybody has fit in really well. And honestly, I think it just gives all the returners, because we do have a good chunk of returners, confidence and excitement about what we could do this season as well.
And I kind of threw this out there. Maybe I should have double-checked something, but I said you'd be the odds-on favorite for the Mountain West. But what does the field look like in conference play that you have to prepare yourself for?
Our conference is really strong, and it changes every year. But I think the best way to prepare is really what we have going on in preseason. We have historically strong teams that we're playing against. I think that's what we can focus on right now, is just doing what we need to do in preseason, getting things done, and I think it can set us up well for conference.
Any of those teams in particular looking forward to playing? I believe you have you got BYU and Utah, I believe, both on the schedule. I think Texas Tech was another one, if I recall. Which
will be here in Logan.
Yeah, which you mentioned a lot. It's very similar to last year, where you played some really tough teams like BYU and St. Louis and all those. But just walk us through some of these teams that you're playing in non-conference that'll be those big tests to help prepare you for conference play.
Right. I think, we have a couple new teams we're playing, which will be fun and exciting and challenging. We're going to Hawaii to start us off, playing against Pepperdine in Hawaii, which will be 2 strong games that we'll be able to see a lot about our team then. And our home opener is Texas Tech, which will be nice to play them again. We played them last year, and they're a strong team, and it's always nice to play the in-state rivals, which are super fun.
Yeah, the start of your season's really not that far away. August 15th is the first match. So when do you actually leave for Hawaii?
So we leave on the 14th, and our first game will be on the 15th.
You said, Eric, when you said it was the beginning of the season, not too far away, but in my mind I thought, Hawaii is kind of far away.
Right. Yeah,
it's a long
it'll be
flight.
fun, though. I'm excited.
So, kind of a bit of a random question, Kylie, because I was looking at your career, and I had noticed that you had played just about every game ever since your freshman year back in 2020, except you missed a game against Nevada last year. And I was kind of curious, both the fact that you've been, an Ironman throughout your entire career, although you did miss that one random game. If you don't mind me asking, what kind of happened there where you broke the streak?
I had a small little strain injury that we just felt it was best to hold me out for that game, because I wasn't 100% at that time when we had other players that were.
But over that course of time, I mean, you were here at Heather Cairns' final year. You've seen the evolution of Manny Martins as a coach, as he has kind of grown into this role and brought success. What have you observed from him, your coach, and that coaching staff over these last several years as they've kind of evolved and taken this women's soccer team to a very high level?
I mean, it's been so awesome to be a part of. I feel like right as Manny and our coaching staff came in, it was just a change of energy and excitement, and he has so much drive and passion for the game that it was really exciting, and they gave us, like, it was almost just natural energy that came once Manny and the coaching staff came. I mean, we've been able to improve each year, which just gives me even more confidence as a fifth year, knowing that if we improve each year, like this season should be even more exciting for us.
So I want to ask about the development, kind of the defense as well, because a lot of the very experienced players, including yourself, are on that defense. It's you, Addie. I mean, Kelsey Kafusi was part of this. De'Ara Walton as well, who just barely graduated. Tell us about the defense, where it's evolved to where this run of defense is some of the best Utah State has ever seen. You just tell us about your guys' growth as a unit, where you've been together for so long and playing together at a high level for so long.
Yeah, I mean, it is so fun to play with our defense. Our defense is super particular in the way we do things, which we're super disciplined, and we follow really just everything Manny has to say for us. And honestly, it's been nothing but awesome and worked for us. And we're actually all close to age, and so I think that we've just been able to go through so much together and gain so much experience together, and to just accomplish things together we've become super close as friends and people as well outside of soccer, that it just improves how we play on the field. And I love playing with people that I can be so confident in and know that they have so much experience on their belt as well.
So I want to contrast that with the offense. Now, the offense isn't exactly void of experience because you got Whitney as an attacking midfielder, busy up there at the top. But the offense, I think last year there was a lot more young players. I think Tess Wirtz is one of them. She's a sophomore or junior. But they're getting older and more experienced. Do you feel like that's one of the areas this team will, you talk about having a more exciting season. Do you feel like the offense can take even more steps forward this season as they're getting as much experience as almost the defense has had for a while?
Yeah, I mean, I think I can even tell this year already the confidence and experience that those players have. And I mean, they've got experience at a young age, which has just helped them each year. And I think they've improved each year as well. And so I think that's one thing that we can be surprised with ourselves this year, is that I think we can take our offense to a whole other notch than we did last year.
Well, Kylie, we appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us. It's fun to see these athletes coming back to town, getting ready, having their fall camps underway, and competition is very close. It's not that far away for you, so we wish you the best of luck as you guys head off to Hawaii here in like a week and a half, and best of luck as the season's upon us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Once again, thanks to Kylie Olsen. We'll go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back after this here on the Full Court Press.
The Sportsman on Main Street is loaded with great clothing, shoes, and equipment. This is Mark inviting you to come in and check out our awesome store. For 71 years, we have outfitted you, whether you are going on the trail or to the theater. Trust me, you won't see yourself coming and going as we work hard to have some of the most unique clothing and shoes you will see anywhere. If it's a bike, skis, or a unique clothing and shoes, I promise we will take care of you only at the Sportsman on Main Street in historic downtown Logan, with tons of free parking in the back.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. Life is good. Life at My Mattress is good too. Why might I say that? Because today is a good day to slay a Goliath. The other day I went into a mattress store here in Logan that has 2,500 stores across the country. I'd say that's a Goliath. We were 20% less expensive on every bed that we both offer. We may not have 2,500 stores, but we are number one in Cache Valley. Better product and better prices. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally? Only at My Mattress.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I'd like to invite you to learn more about us. Since 1997, we've been Utah's premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment. What sets us apart at Alpine Home Medical is the superior level of customer service. We provide home oxygen, CPAPs, wheelchairs, scooters, breast pumps, and so much more. Come on down and get to know us.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit alpinehomemedical.com.
Make it 4 years in a row. Advanced Heating and AC is honored to be named the gold medalist for the best of Northern Utah in the AC HVAC category. You have many choices when it comes to your home's heating and air conditioning system. Make sure you choose the gold medal winning company, Advanced Heating and AC. Call 752-7272 or stop by their showroom west of DI. Online at advancedheating-ac.com.
The patio is open, the chips are endless, drinks on tap. You know it's got to be Cafe Sabor, Cache Valley's best Mexican restaurant, gold winner in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Experience Locals Day every Thursday with a huge burrito, endless chips and soda, only $7.95. That's a complete lunch for just $7.95. Finding any lunch under $10 is nearly impossible. Every Thursday, drinks, chips, and massive burrito, just $7.95. The patio, the sun, the fun at Cafe Sabor in the historic train station on 6th Weston Center in Logan.
For more than a century, couples have shopped at S.E. Needham Jewelers. Known for a large selection of beautiful diamonds, we now have both natural and lab-grown diamonds. You are sure to find a diamond engagement ring that will fit your budget. The possibilities today are endless as you select the perfect ring. Show her you'll cherish her forever with a diamond, either natural or lab-grown, from the store where Utah gets engaged. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Interviews, analysis, and a little bit of fun mixed in. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Thanks again to Kylie Olsen of Utah State Soccer, one of the top players. She was second team All Mountain West last season. So lots of expectations for her, for Utah State, as they look to defend a Mountain West title, a Mountain West tournament title. San Diego State were the regular season champions last year, so that'll be a chief rival, most likely. I don't think they've done a preseason poll yet for this.
I haven't seen one.
Yeah, I haven't seen one either. So
that's why I kind of threw it out there, odds on, but maybe not. I don't know what that will definitively look like. But Utah State should be at or very near the top of the preseason poll.
Yeah, top three minimum, probably second, maybe even with how much they return, possibly even first.
Because of their experience. And Mountain West Championship, they've got something more on their minds. They want to do some damage in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I got to the NCAA tournament, ended up facing BYU, a team they beat earlier in the season last year, when BYU was ranked number 1. Of course, BYU was a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Utah State ended up losing. Unfortunately, just because of how they format that, because they go a lot more regionally. Like Utah State wasn't a 16 seed, but
right.
But because it was close, they paired them up.
But as we mentioned in the interview with Kylie, the Utah State women's soccer team heads to Hawaii for a couple of games against Pepperdine and then against Hawaii. And then they come home and they've got a series of games in the state of Utah. They don't leave the state again until near the end of September. And during that stretch, not all of them are in Logan, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's like 4 road games when you're talking they don't leave the state of Utah. They play basically every other team in Utah.
Right. Get on a bus, short drive. As she mentioned, the home openers against Texas Tech on August 25th. But then they go to Utah. They go to BYU. They go to Utah Valley. There's a home game against Pacific sprinkled in there, and then they go to Weber State. So, yeah, they do a tour of the Wasatch Front.
They need to balance out these home and homes because, like, they played BYU at home last year, and I think they usually do home and homes with all these Utah teams, which is fantastic. You had a number one team in the country at Bell Field last year.
Right. But then Washington State, kind of exciting, coming into town on September 19th, and then they close out non-conference play in Phoenix against Grand Canyon, with first Mountain West competition at San Jose State on September 26th.
Yeah, because a reminder, Hawaii is not in the Mountain West Conference in soccer. Well,
correct.
Not in any sport except
outside of football.
Yeah. Although Colorado College is still just randomly in the Mountain West still, I think. I should double check.
They are. For soccer, yes, they are.
They're still
on the schedule.
I don't know how they got roped in there. But we need to get to top 25 Aggies. Eric, we talked long enough that we almost made ourselves late for this. Because around 4:25 every day for the next couple of weeks and for the last week and a half, 2 weeks now I think we've been going on, revealing the top 25 Aggies as voted on by our media poll, me and Eric and Ajay Salveson, Craig Hislop. We also had a fan vote. So we're down to, I did it again. I didn't load up the little thingy.
Or to number 17 on our list.
Yeah, number 17 on our list. I loaded up all of our other audio except for the important one.
The one that we were so close to actually having it on time.
All right, so here we go. Number 17 in the top 25 Aggies.
The Cache Valley Media Group's Top 25 Aggies of 2024 continues today with the reveal of the number 17 player for the upcoming football season. He's a 6'1", 245-pound linebacker who wears jersey number 33, Max Alford. Alford played in all 13 of Utah State's games as a true freshman in 2022 and started in 4 of those contests. He finished the year with 40 tackles and 4 tackles for loss. He also earned Mountain West Freshman of the Week for recording 8 tackles and 1.5 tackles for loss against New Mexico. In 2023, Alford was set for a breakout season as one of the team's 2 starting linebackers. However, on the first defensive snap against Iowa in the season opener, Alford suffered a season-ending injury and sat out for the rest of the year. But with the 2024 season approaching, Alford is poised to once again be a key contributor to the Aggies defense. The number 17 player in the top 25 Aggies of 2024, Max Alford.
Yes, Max Alford, a player who was going to be one of the starting linebackers. It was him and MJ Tafisi. Alford was going to have a breakout season. MJ Tafisi, he ended up repeating a lot of what he did, his first year as a full-time starter, being just a tackling machine last year. But on the first play of the first game, Max Alford tears his ACL.
Yeah, tragic.
It's ridiculous how just untimely that kind of thing was.
Because he was really emerging through the spring practices and the fall practices of 2023 as a young leader of the team. Not just how he played, but also how he communicated with his teammates. And so he was given some pretty serious responsibility as a sophomore going into the start of the season, and for good reason. I actually had a chance to talk to him yesterday, and health-wise, he says he feels great. And so it's the best he's felt in 3 years, interestingly enough. So excited to see the impact that he can have in that linebacker core, which has a lot of questions, but a lot of new faces. Alford, you kind of have to peg him into almost among all these new faces just because he didn't play last year. But there's a certain level of excitement with Max Alford at the linebacker position for Utah State.
Yeah, definitely. And as we've talked about, there are a ton of different players at that linebacker position that you can get excited about for a number of reasons. With Alford, like the way he was coming into his own at that position late in 2022, and obviously in spring of 2023 and working through all that offseason, looking like he was going to step in and be a very productive linebacker. Now you've also got Clyde Washington, John Miller, John Ross May. There's a bunch of different guys you can get excited about, although it is a giant question mark because none of those guys have ever been a full-time starter at a Division I program. So a lot of them have spot starts, or in the case of John Ross May, we talked about him a couple days ago, very productive Division II.
The lower level. Right.
So, or others like limited time at power conference schools like John Miller at Oregon State, Clyde Washington at Purdue. So there's a lot of questions, and we asked Nate Dreiling about that linebacker position, where it's kind of the biggest question of the defense.
That is the biggest question mark on paper, right? Let's talk about who we got coming back first, all right? That was on the team. So we got Big Max. Max, as you guys know, tore his ACL in the Iowa game, but he is way ahead of schedule, and he's going to be practicing here in the next couple of days, coming off that knee injury, and we feel like he should be one of the best linebackers in the Mountain West. On top of that, you have Bronson, you have Cole Joyce, you have JP, you have a bunch of guys that has played a bunch of snaps. Maybe not in that starter role, but in that reserve role, right, in building depth. So we have that whole crew coming, and then we do have a bunch of additions. We got Clyde Washington. Clyde's coming from University of Purdue. He played 350 snaps last year in the Big Ten, and meaningful snaps. Like, he started at Sam linebacker for him. He wanted a bigger role. I've had great relationships with Kevin Kane, their defensive coordinator, and he said, "You're absolutely crazy if you don't take this guy." And he's been phenomenal so far. You also have John Ross May. Awesome story, because just like me, John was at a Division II school, one of the best D2 linebackers in the country last year, filled up the stat sheet, and he's been phenomenal this summer, as well as John Miller coming from Oregon State. So 3 linebackers who have all played a bunch of football, have a bunch of production, but probably even more importantly are phenomenal leaders and very smart kids. At linebacker, like I was slower than I'm sure all of you guys in here, and I ended up making a bunch of tackles, not because I was fast or athletic, but because you're a smart player, and that's what we brought in, and that's what Coach Bobby McMillan, our inside linebacker coach, that's what he develops, I think, better than anybody in the country, is football IQ in that room, and that's going to be a shining point. That's a huge question mark right now, but it's going to be a shining point by the end of the season.
First off, I appreciate that Nate Dreiling thinks that he may have been slower than me when he was in college. I think he could run down the football field and back before I can make it to the 50-yard line. But the end there, he talks about how, he's not shying away from the fact he knows it's a question mark. He's not deluding himself about this. But he talks about these guys who have experience. Some of them have experience at higher levels, maybe not as a starter, but they have some experience. They have talent. They have size. Some of these guys are big. Like Clyde Washington, he's pretty big.
Yeah.
Max Alford's gotten himself pretty big as well. I think he's went up 245, 250 or something like that. I forgot what the weight listing was. But, he's a big guy.
Listed at 245.
245, yeah. So he's big. He may not be super tall at 6'1", but he's big. And so they've got that talent. If you got that talent, if you get that buy-in, as Nate Dreiling said, it may be a question mark right now, but it can be a shining point later in the season as these guys start trying to produce.
Right. There is uncertainty as to who will play and at what position, who will start and what that rotation looks like. But there are a lot of guys who can play. And I think that's something that I'm not sure we really had last year. Outside of MJ Tafisi, there was a big question mark after Alford's injury. It's like, okay, well, we're just going to have to Band-Aid and bubble gum and duct tape this thing together and try to figure out what we can do. And that became a real issue as the season went on. But this year, I think they've tried to address that. There's still question marks about how do some of these guys really compete on a consistent level in the Mountain West. But I think there are more options available for this coaching staff to figure that out. 9315 texting into the Full Court Press text line. For some reason, it feels like Max has been playing a lot longer than he really has. Perhaps, but here's a guy who came in as a freshman and started to try to make a name for himself early on. And so when you have players that do that, it does feel like they're around for a lot longer. And so he is a player that I'm hopeful that he has a good, healthy, strong season this year and helps that linebacker core.
Yeah, because the Aggies needed it. At linebacker, they really struggled, as you mentioned, outside of MJ Tafisi because there were guys that kept getting injured. I mean, Max was one of them.
Right.
That's why they had to move Anthony Switzer over from that hybrid spot into just full-time linebacker. He had to play that because they basically had nobody else because
No one else was ready.
And no one else was ready. No one else is experienced. Some of those guys now have more experience. Logan Peely, Cole Joyce. So there's potentially a lot more depth because those guys that weren't ready are now, and they've added a bunch of guys at that position. So hopefully that's a position that won't be a weakness this year, as it kind of was last year in a lot of ways. Again, outside of MJ Tafisi.
Right.
You basically had half a linebacker core.
Yeah.
MJ Tafisi is holding down that one spot. And then you had everyone else.
Yeah, that's true. And I know we played this a little bit yesterday, but I want to get back to it with Coach Dreiling talking about the defense and trying to fix the defense. Because this was, I thought, really one of the more interesting comments from him. And the defense struggled last year. The defense at New Mexico State before he got there was bad. And it's just interesting hearing him discuss that at a little bit more at length about coming in to try to address a need, but giving credit to the players. He doesn't really, when you read between the lines, it's not really a player problem. And which kind of gets me excited to see what this defense will look like this year under Dreiling's direction.
One of the main reasons I took this job, it was very similar to my New Mexico State job. When I got to New Mexico State the year before, they were ranked 127th in the college football, right? And there's, 134 teams, so pretty close to dead last. So one thing that was similar about this place was they were ranked, upper 100s. But one thing I knew for sure, if you have been that bad, you are going to soak up information and knowledge and want it. You want to be a sponge because two things happen. You get tired of people telling you how bad you are, right? And then you have a huge chip on your shoulder for the exact same reason. So as soon as I walked in the room, they were all ears and they've been unbelievable. So that's more so like they had plenty of talent last year, right? We just got to make sure we spend the how time and give the kids the tools to be successful and get the confidence rolling. There's no reason defensively that we shouldn't be the best or one of the best defenses in the Mountain West, and that's our goal. We're not there yet, and I let the kids know exactly where we stand when I do meet with them. But we are getting closer. We're making huge strides. Fall camp is going to be fun. One thing you guys are going to see about this defense is that we're going to have unbelievable depth. And you have to. If our offense is going to go try to score 60 points to win the game, right, you better have two sets of starters. That's why fall camp is going to be fun in building that depth as well.
And the depth is kind of interesting because I can see it at multiple levels of the defense where if Nate Dreiling's optimism is well-founded with the linebackers, then there's a lot of depth there. But also at defensive back, my goodness, these guys are overloaded with safeties. Ike Larson, Jordan Vincent, Simeon Harris, Torrin Union, bunch of guys. Jaden Francois. Some of those guys might end up going over to that kind of the hybrid position, which it's nickel. Used to be striker. Every team has their own
right.
name.
They come
for
up
it.
with their own term.
So that kind of hybrid position where you're a linebacker and a safety, but they just get so many different guys to fill all those positions. So they have depth at one position at safety. Decent depth at cornerback, I think. You got a couple of starters or some question marks around some of the guys. Linebacker, maybe. D-line, I got to kind of wait and see. I kind of want to see it to believe it with at least the depth or some of the starters that I think can be solid, but I don't know if they have two sets of starters in the D-line. Maybe they do. I'm going to have to wait and see there. But I can see that with the linebackers, and I'm confident that it's there with the safeties, that concept of having multiple starters in that depth. Which you especially need, as Nate Dreiling mentioned, to kind of complement the offense, which that's what we talked about all last season. The offense is going too fast. Defense can't keep up. They barely get done breathing by the time the offense has either gone 3 and out or scored a touchdown in 45 seconds.
Right. Yeah, and one of the other things that kind of stood out to me with Coach Dreiling talking about preparing his team and improving the defense and just getting his players dialed in was also this figuring out how to perform well in big moments. And his defense last year at New Mexico State was able to do that. And so he shared some insight as to what that process is like to prepare his players for moments like that.
So for me, it goes right to football IQ. One thing that I love doing, we have a unit meeting every single day on defense, right? And so all of my position coaches have something, whether it's block destruction, turnover, tackling, pursuit. We speak on everything, and then I speak on football IQ. What we try to do and how we accelerate winning on our defense is that if one guy makes a mistake, you will not see that mistake again, right? And we handle it for the whole team, whether it's a D tackle jumping off sides on 3rd and 2. What do you think they're going to do on 3rd and 2, right? No one else needs to have that learning lesson. So we do capitalize, I think, with our teachers, but that goes back to having the football players that want to listen as well, and understanding situations because, listen, teams lose more football games than they win, and I think you guys probably believe that just watching football. So how can we make sure when the time gets big, our players know how to handle that situations, right, and prepared, right, and are staying ahead of the chains. So that's a great question, but that comes with a lot of hours in this room right here, right where you're sitting.
So, yeah, certainly, getting these guys prepared for situations. Because, those third downs late in the game, a fourth down, those can make or break a game. I mean, theoretically, if you technically break it down and look at it from a bird's eye view, maybe some third down isn't that big, but when you got a mental game like all sports are, it means more in a lot of those cases.
Knowing that you can stop your opponent, not just wait for your opponent to make a mistake, knowing that you can stop them, having the confidence, having the ability, having the drive in critical situations, and believing in yourself that you can do that. Clearly that is part of Nate Dreiling's track record and what he instills in his players.
All right, so we got to take a quick break here. We'll come back. We'll keep playing some audio from this. Nate Dreiling was actually asked about penalties. That's something we'll play, his thoughts on penalties. It's been a problem for Utah State for a while, and so we'll hear what he has to say about that coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
Beezer Lock & Key has been providing businesses and homeowners with security for 30 years. Security is priceless, especially if it's guaranteed. No cheap locks, no bad keys, no inadequate hardware, just expertise, precision, and security. Beezer Lock & Key believes there's no place like a safe home, and no home safer than one secured by them. When you want guaranteed security and peace of mind for your home, business, or vehicle, go with the pros on the familiar corner of 4th North and 1st West in Logan. Beezer Lock & Key. Search BeezerLock.com to discover more.
When grid failures and severe weather cause power outages, your business might take a hit, or at home you could lose your refrigerated food storage. Generac Standby Power Solutions help ensure an uninterrupted power supply. Generac is the #1 brand of standby generators. Get yours today from Golden Spike Electric, your trusted source for safety and security. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gscgenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
Girls, us guys are always trying to score some brownie points, but we need all the help we can get. So dropping some subtle hints is helpful, such as your favorite food is Italian, you love the color green, and you want the ring from Jarek's Fine Jewelry, the place with the bright green cars on 930 North Main Street. Okay, so it might not be so subtle, but that's okay. Remember, we need the help. Make it special, make it Jarek's. Now remember, just tell him it's the place with the bright green cars.
Let Prodigy Brewing deliver a delicious experience of flavor and fun into your world. Enjoy Cache Valley's juiciest burgers, tastiest nachos, and flavor-filled wood-fired pizzas and award-winning specialty craft beers. Did you know that Prodigy Brewing now has a 20-minute lunch guarantee? From 11 to 3 p.m., they promise to get your meal to you within 20 minutes after you order, or it's free. So whether it's a quick lunch, dinner with the family, Sunday brunch, or Trivia Tuesdays, let Prodigy Brewing introduce you to deliciousness. Prodigy Brewing on Center Street in downtown Logan.
No matter what the condition, DD Auto and Salvage can get your vehicle off your property. Now is the time to make some extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage. Let them pay you for that old junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it easy to get rid of your junker vehicle, paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204.
And call today. See store for details.
Markets are unpredictable, but reaching your financial goals shouldn't be. Adams Wealth Advisors is dedicated to helping you navigate these challenges and ensure you're prepared for every outcome. Whether your financial plan revolves around advanced tax planning, estate planning, business strategies, retirement planning, or investment management, Adams Wealth Advisors team of CPAs, CFPs, and CFAs will provide the expertise needed to help you reach your financial goals. Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com. That's AdamsWealthAdvisors.com for more information or to schedule an appointment.
It's the Full Court Press, weekday afternoons from 4 to 6 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Are you looking for glasses with character? I know Eric is. Crystal Vision will take your current prescription and fit a pair of glasses to your style. Crystal Vision's a 4-time gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah. They provide personable, experienced, one-on-one care. They're over on 14th North in Logan. So Eric mentioned, going into the last segment, penalties. That's something that Utah State has just not been able to escape from. Most frustratingly are what you might just call frustration penalties.
Yes.
The kind where it's after the play, you're shoving the other guy and you shove him one last time a little too late. Shoving after shove time is over. And there were just too many of those. Utah State was one of the most penalized teams over the last couple of years. They were in like the bottom 10 for pretty much all of last season. And Nate Dreiling, of course, got asked that. As the new head coach, what are you going to do to reduce penalties with this team?
The biggest thing for me is what are these penalties? Are these unsportsmanlike fouls? Like, no. That comes down to controlling your emotions. If you can't control your emotions, you can't control anything, right? So it's important that how we practice and how we prepare, we put a lot of strain on our guys, so when it comes to game day, life is easy. If we're having to do stuff extra during the game that we couldn't handle in practice, emotionally or physically, that's when people get out of line, right? And that's how that stuff shows. But ultimately, it was funny talking with and listening to our players. Like, the one thing they wanted to improve on was that right there, was discipline, self-discipline, and team discipline. So we put some things in place as soon as I took the job over to help encourage, I'll say, people to make sure that where they need to be on time. But it has to be little things, as you guys know. Like, it has to be, all right, then if we're on study hall at 8 o'clock, if you're not there at 8 and not early, then there has to be consequences. And you have to build it from the inside out. If not, you just can't be disciplined on game days. So helping develop that at a very fast rate, because you look at some of the best teams in the country, and they're almost always penalty-free. And the ones that I can't stand are personal fouls and pre-snap. If you accidentally hold someone, cool. That's football. You'll get through that. But we will do a huge job as far as limiting pre-snap and personal fouls. That'll be in the game plan.
So I have no problem with anything Nate Dreiling said there. Sound, solid, logical. The only problem is I get this feeling, Eric, that I've heard that somewhere before.
If you were to get the transcript for what you said, or what he said, what you just heard, and compare that to a transcript that we would have received from Blake Anderson over various different times over the course of his career as a coach at Utah State University, when he was asked about penalties, you could probably compare the two and not know who said what.
Yeah, if you handed me the two transcripts, I wouldn't be able to tell you. These guys, maybe it's common among all coaches. Like, I'm not that upset if you hold a guy on one play. Like, if you hold him every play, you can be kind of ticked about that.
Right.
But at one play, you hold a guy, or you accidentally, your finger gets caught on the face mask, you get called for that, or there's a PI. It's like, okay, if it's not super common, then that's just going to happen. Nobody's perfect. As Nate Dreiling said, you'll get through that. It's the frustration ones. That's what they're all mad about. Like, okay, that seems to be the going philosophy, but I can't knock Nate Dreiling, because, well, like, what, he hasn't had a chance to implement the thing,
right?
Where he's going to try and limit penalties. So I guess it's you want the answer. You want to hear the magical thing that says, okay, they're going to fix penalties. But there's not something like that. It's something that they're going to have to prove. They're going to have to prove they have self-control. both in frustration penalties and in not committing other penalties.
Yeah, but penalties can be kind of an external symbol of what the discipline is like in the team.
Yeah.
And so if it's continues to be a real problem, then kind of indicates that the discipline internally really isn't as strong as you'd want it to be. I'm not going to say it's bad or it's poor or it's unprofessional, but sometimes it can reveal that that level of the culture needs to be stronger than it is. Because you'll see some programs that very rarely get penalized for things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I always remember the Patriots, and I listened to the NFL, but they were always very rarely penalized. Some people had a problem with that, but a lot of it had to do with discipline.
Right.
So
it can be coached.
Yeah, it can be coached.
Yes.
We do need to take a break because we got to get to pick 6 coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
When it comes to appliance repairs, who better to trust than an appliance store that offers service before and after the sale? This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. We've been in business for 54 years, have 7 in-house technicians that are background checked and drug tested. We also offer technician-approved appliances. Head straight to our showroom where we've selected the best products and prices just for you. As the only in-house service dealer, you can trust us to take care of all your needs, from purchase to maintenance. Experience the Daryl's difference. Daryl's Appliance, west on Airport Road.
Are you seeking the best in healthcare services in Northern Utah? Look no further. Agis Healthcare has been voted the best of Northern Utah. I am Jason Jones. We take pride in providing top quality home care and hospice services to the residents of Northern Utah. Experience the difference with Agis. Our dedicated team is here to provide compassionate home care and hospice services tailored just for you. Call us today at 723-9000 or visit our website at myagis.com. Agis Home Health and Hospice, your trusted partner right here in your community.
Imagine your wedding day. Elegant, simple, yet stunning, stress-free. It's your day. It's all about you. Whether you're looking for small and simple or have a grander idea, the Riverwoods Conference Center will accommodate your every need. Choose the inside ballroom elegance or outside along the natural decor of the beautiful Logan River. A Riverwoods event planner will work personally with you to make sure your event is exactly how you've envisioned it. The Riverwoods Conference Center, where your happily ever after begins. Google Riverwoods Conference Center or call 750-5151.
Hello, I'm Garrett Tanner, Operations Manager at Cache Valley Bank. With 20 years of banking experience, I strive to use my knowledge to help small businesses overcome any challenges they may face, no matter how complex. My customers are important to me, and I take a genuine interest in understanding their lives. Come visit me at our mall branch or give me a call. I'd love to get to know you and show you what opening an account at Cache Valley Bank can do for you. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat and the Allergy Clinic now have an office located inside the Miller Medical Building in Tremonton. An additional office open every Friday. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat is the 2024 Best of Northern Utah Gold winner for ear, nose, and throat medical offices and is now located in North Logan, Providence, and Tremonton. Schedule your appointment for an office near you. Go to CacheValleyENT.com. That's CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted.
You know you recognize that song. I'm talking to you, class of 1976. Hi, this is Rusty Allen with LSS Insurance, and turning 65 means it's time to talk Medicare. LSS is here to help. Call 752-9493 for help with Medicare. As your local agent, we will research benefits, costs, and look up prescriptions so there aren't any surprises at the pharmacy. Call LSS at 752-9493.
Breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews. It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Whether you drive a little or a lot, your locally owned Napa Auto Parts has all the items to keep your car running smooth and looking good. They've got deals on premium full synthetic oil, Valvoline premium blue diesel oils. It's all on sale. Those deals, a whole lot of others, while supplies last at your locally owned Preston to Providence Napa Auto Parts locations. All right, Eric, we got to kind of speed through this, the pick six. We only got a couple minutes left. You won last week. You broke my 3-week streak, so you get to pick who goes first.
I'm going to go first.
All righty.
I want to start with strength.
All right.
I don't know what that means in this. Okay, women's soccer, USA versus Japan tomorrow, the quarterfinal. USA by 1.5 goals.
I'm going to take the under.
I'm going to take the over. USA versus Puerto Rico in basketball, men's basketball, on Saturday. USA by 25.5 points.
Gosh, I think I'm going to take the over.
Ah, darn it.
You want me to bet against Team USA?
I'm going to take the under.
All right.
And then in hockey quarterfinal on Sunday, Great Britain versus India.
I thought you were talking about like ice hockey.
No,
field hockey.
Field hockey. They just call it hockey. And so I'm going to go India by 0.5 goals.
No clue. Britain. I'll take the under. I have no clue.
I'll take the over.
All right. So I've also got Team USA versus Puerto Rico in men's basketball. Although I had total points from Team USA over under 107.5.
I'll take the over.
Take the over as well. Then this one a little complicated. Which region will have more wins in the women's soccer quarterfinals? So kind of regions of the world. So it's the Americas or Europe. There are 4 teams from the Americas, North and South America, U.S., Canada, Colombia, Brazil. And Europe has Spain, Germany, and France. And most of these teams are playing each other. No team from the same region is playing another team from the same region. So which team or which region will have more wins in the quarterfinals?
European.
I'm going to go with the Americas. I
Okay.
believe in America.
All right.
And then Miami versus Tigres. This is the League's Cup. Miami by 1.5 goals.
Take the under.
Take the under as well. Tiebreaker. Got a
Tiebreaker for me. Okay, Lithuania versus Serbia, 3-on-3 men's basketball on Sunday. Just pick the winner, Lithuania or Serbia.
I'm going to go Lithuania.
Darn it. I'll have to pick Serbia then.
All right. Thanks for listening. Reminder, 2-hour show begins on Monday.
This is Above the Noise. The expectations for the 2024 rookie quarterback class, pretty high. But no one has higher expectations than the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams. The Bears are currently listed at -115 to make the playoffs in Williams' first year. Pretty good. His supporting cast may be the best we've ever seen surrounding a number 1 overall pick, at least in a while. But no matter how talented you may be, leading a franchise to a postseason berth is a tall task as a rookie. C.J. Stroud's breakout season, that's an anomaly. Since the NFL's inception, only 15 quarterbacks have led their team to the playoffs as a rookie. The number of rookies to win a playoff game is even more concerning. Only 3 have accomplished that feat since 2012: Stroud, Brock Purdy, and Russell Wilson. That doesn't mean Caleb Williams can't impress in year 1, but in terms of Chicago immediately becoming a playoff contender, history suggests C.J. Stroud's historic rookie season may be giving us a sense of false confidence. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.